Welcome to my channel. Today it's all about junking. And junking, by that I mean utilising everything we got, and we don't do that. So I stained an envelope, and I will tell you how I got this to that stain. Look, I did an episode last week using just inks, but I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't happy with the results. I think that looks better. It still needs a little bit of edge work, but it's easy. Just using mixed media, stamping. These are these silly things that I bought yonks ago, and I don't use them. I don't feel comfortable using them in my journal. So I did that using a bit of mixed media work and whatnot. A bit of fun. And what I also did, and we always forget to do, dress pattern. Now, I only had the blue ink because I can't find my archival black ink. But stamp your pattern paper. Do any images and then layer them. Comes up beautiful. Well, that's not bad. That's 2 layers. And in this, because it's a serrated tag, I actually really pushed the tissue paper inside it and basically just tied a piece of old ribbon, and that was good to go. Like I said, that was the stamping image. And that's another tag I made. I put a little lady there, just put beautiful on it. Now, these are all misprints of, or overprinting, but mainly misprints. My printer mightn't been working properly, and I just kept everything. And I will show you what to do so you're able to use stamping, mixed media on it, whatever it may be. Well, the secret ingredient is gesso. Now, your gesso will also create those dots. I don't know if you can see them. So you don't even need moulding paste. This one is created by using various papers. Now, I've got this old magazine. It's a journal. It's 1956. And I like the colour. Now, what I've learnt when you're using colour is basically, when you're using magazines and you're using a darker print, you're better off having a lighter print underneath and maybe there. Now, I gessoed this. Otherwise, it would have been, well, look, it wouldn't have turned out like it did. So, gessoed, and I actually used, I've had this since it's come out, Tim Holtz paper. I mean, lordy, the money we spend and we don't utilise it. So the thing is, today is about utilising and junking, meaning use your junky bits and pieces. So what I'll do, I'll explain to you how I did this. Also, this will create, if you just give me 2 seconds, I'll be back. Now, what I did, I mixed 4 teaspoons of coffee You can even go stronger. And what I did, you know how we tea stain our pages and everything. Well, so I done 4 teaspoons of coffee, maybe even a bit more, to parts boiling water till I had it to a thick paste. Then I poured 99% alcohol or 90% alcohol. No, it was 90 or 90, and it's strong. And what I did, I splattered. I used a big paintbrush and brushed it on. Look at that. I'll show you some other pages I done. Look at that. And the effects is by, when I had it in the oven, because I actually put it in the oven, I got my brush and I put some on the top. I also used a dropper, and that created some of that as well. So I just think it's just gorgeous. So it's just a matter, if you've got 90% alcohol, you will achieve that stain with coffee. I haven't tried it with tea. Only reason why I haven't tried it with tea is I don't think tea, we can get tea strong, but I don't know how strong you can get it, but it's just beautiful. So that's how I bought the paper and my envelope to that level. Now, before you start doing your envelopes, staining them and everything, gesso. Use good old gesso. Gesso, I'm just telling you, you don't realise how much a good friend gesso is to you. I've got stuff everywhere, and I'll bet you I'll need it shortly, and I won't be able to find it. But good old gesso, right, that's full of gesso. Then, because when you're doing envelopes, they are flimsy compared to paper. Would have been better if I used the bigger brush, but anyway, this will do. And because it's got alcohol, it doesn't take long to dry. So then you can just keep adding. Now, sometimes you might need to gesso twice. Now, I just use the cheap brand of gesso. Just good old cheap brand gesso, and it does the trick. I'll let it trickle down, let it create its own pattern. I've got plastic on this table, so I don't get in a mess. This is a better idea than the one I used last week. Last week I used my inks. Now, I don't think it created that vintage look that I wanted. And I really wanted an old vintage look. And as you see, it's moving around quite nicely around the envelope. And that's what you want to create, is that streaky look of age. So, look, I fiddle and do all sorts of things, and I don't care if I make a mess, because a mess can be cleaned. And the place isn't a mess, believe you me, because I've just got everything going in here. Like I said, I'm using up scraps. Like, I've had so many misprints that I thought I'm going to do a series called Junking. And junking is utilising everything we've got in our stash, because you know what? We actually aren't. Like I said, that tissue paper, 2 years. My stamps, they've been sitting there forever and a day. And the thing is, they need to be used. No good leaving things in the cupboard, you know, like cupboards full of stuff. I've got cupboards full of printing, misprints. I've got a box. I did do a video on cutting down your papers to size, you know, so that they're easier and manageable to use. I did that a while ago. I've got to stop saying but I'm an Aussie. Well, a Maltese Aussie. So you're going to hear me say a lot. So what I'll do now that I've stained it, I will leave it alone, or I could hit it with the heat gun. But we might just go with something else while we let this develop into its own magic. And it will. Because this coffee with the alcohol is amazing. And look, I don't know how I forgot about it, because I actually knew this technique before. And it will feel sticky and all those sort of things. Don't stress. What I do, because I don't want that to get stuck together. Whoops. Don't worry about that, because that's mendable. So I'm just going to find somewhere where this can sit. And because I've got plastic, I don't care. Down. I might use that, and we'll let it drip there. So this was this. From that, I went to this. Because I know I'm likely to use that in my journals more than I'm likely to use that. Because it's a misprint. It printed orange in the background. Look, it's yellow cardstock. Now, also, I tend to gesso the back of these, but I didn't do it for this. Now, I had, and I don't want to disrupt everything. So this has already been gessoed, and it's been gessoed, and I've put the tissue paper on. And I've used Mod Podge, but you can use PVA glue, you can use school glue, you can use a glue stick, you can use what you like for this. But when I play, and a real big issue we've got with collaging, I found, is that we tend to stick to one colour. You know, we might go too dark. And the thing is, we've got to sort of change tactics how we do that. What I found works for me, I will show you in a farm where I had a picture to put on that. Oh, there it is. I did some tearing. Now, what I'd like to do to it is, I wanted to use some texture paste, but we won't worry about texture paste. In this, I've used texture paste, and you can just see it. Well, it's not texture paste. I actually use gesso. Because if you want to lay pictures on there and paper, you do not need moulding paste. Better off with gesso. Gesso makes a good texturing paste so that you're able to still do your layers. So, okay, what I'll do, I will rough the edges. Now, we all had one of these. This is an old Stampin' Up. So I'm going to rough this to start with so that it's already good to go. Now, when I Mod Podge this on, I actually put a bit of Mod Podge on the top. You don't have to. I prefer it. So I'm going to rough it up because this is going to be a pocket in one of my journals. You know, it's going to come in handy because I need to build my stash. Because I make so many journals, I am not building my stash up, and it's really important that I do. So, I'm going to lay her, and I'm going to Mod Podge her on. And I normally wipe my brush really good from the water so that it will stick down pretty quick. But before I put her down, I want to put a piece of light paper. Because as you notice, light paper goes really well with the vintage shade of this paper. And I actually also wanted to ink it, but I want to ink it with the black because otherwise I'm going to be drawing on it and drawing around it because I like it to pop out. And the only way it's going to pop out is if you give it some nice black. So that's what I'm doing. Just blackening it up. Yeah, I keep all my scraps because they do come in handy. You'd be amazed what some of your papers, like your scrapbooking paper, all of that is actually really, really handy. That, and I want it, and I bet you I've lost it because I've moved everything around. See, I don't prepare, and do you know why? Because it's too hard. Because I have it all set and ready to go, and then my brain moves on to something real quick, onto something else. So all I'm going to do is just lightly Mod Podge, well, lightly, Jeannie, but anyway, this will do. So I want to lay that more towards there. And then I'll just go over the top of it. And we're going to lay this beauty down. And then we're going to Mod Podge her down. I don't know, but I've got to think about Mod Podge. You don't have to use Mod Podge though, just because I did. I want to lift that up because, oh, it won't let me. That's how frail it is. And see, frail paper, that's what it's good for. Because you're going to come up with against books that are frail. And the only way to fix them is this way. Now, that's no good to me like it is. So what I'll do with that, instead of, while that dries, and I might have to hit it with the gun, what I might do with that is, I'll put the Mod Podge in there, the brush in there, and we're going to get gesso. And I've got this handy, I keep forgetting I have it. See, it's got the tiny holes. So we're going to utilise the gesso on top of it because it's the only way I'm going to disguise it to be able to use it for something else. So, like I said, your gesso is going to be your best friend in the craft room. It really is. Just don't overload like I do. I overload. I overload the brush and then, the spatula. I need to get decent ones though, because this one's a bit of a pain. It really is. So I just want to basically scrape that on, and it went on nicely. So what I use the baby wipes, but because I haven't got it around me, we're going to forget about that. It will be okay. I'll just put it inside here, and then I can wash it. They wash pretty well. And I'm just going to hit some of these things with a gun. I lost a few things here. I'll tell you, I had things planned. And you know how you have things planned and ready to go? Sorry about the noise. So I'm going to hit the envelope as well, because that's going to take a while to dry, because we need to give it a second coat. Once it's dry, it stiffens up because of the gesso. So okay, we'll just let that kick back again. It's still wet, and we better hit this with the heat gun. Like I said, these are all misprints. It's really annoying when it doesn't dry quick for you, but it's doing okay. Now, I want you, because this is going to be another pocket. I'm not really happy with that colour, but we will change that shortly. I'm going to hit it with the black soot. You can use, look, you can use any stains you got. Honestly, I'm just hitting it with black soot. And I should be roughing it up. Now I'm going to leave this one. Whoops. Because I was going to hit it with the black soot, but I'm deciding against that. It's still slightly wet. So we're going to hit that and the envelope a bit more. Because this only needs 2 coats. But the oven would have worked its magic, I tell you, a lot quicker. So, what I'm doing next is, what am I going to do with this? I'm going to have to find another misprint. And there should be something around, I tell you, because there's lots of misprints in this house. There you go. But what we'll do, and we need dark, light and dark. So I always use a bit of light and a bit of dark. Gotta find something that's not, just a bit of writing will do. I'm real careful what I use in my mags because it's not often you get old magazines here. So I hope you've been seeing what I've been doing. I don't think you have. But anyway, so we're going to lay this down because as you can see, the textured paint is dry. But what I'm going to do is black soot this. Yeah, I'm having untold misery with this phone. It's time to get a new one, and I've been accident prone with it. That's what's happened. Now, I'll quickly Mod Podge these. So we need... always leave a serviette there. Okay. So I don't fuss where things go, except for the picture. Then I fuss. But everything else, I just lay down. Got to make sure the writing's in the right way, don't we? Or when we're in trouble. So, yeah, watch it down. And I want my picture I hope you can see. I should have checked it. It's very hard when you're using a phone. So that just needs to dry now, and then I can do some other stuff to it. Okay, so that's next. So what I do with this now, better put that back, is really rough the edges because I like the rough look. And when I use Mod Podge, I only use matte medium. But you can make your own, and they reckon it comes out really good. So what I do is get a word, which I've got a box full of words, and I try and get something that's appropriate to her, if I can. If I can. This is what happens when you're not prepared. Oh, here you go. I've got a lot of words cut. Whoops. Stars. Just take a bit of the edge of that. Because I want it black, before I put it down, I might... Oh, now my pen's not working. Oh no, it doesn't work that way either. Let's hope this one works. That's the trouble when you use mediums. A lot of your pens don't work. Charcoal does, but I don't know where it is. I just want to give it that little bit of distressy black look. And I want to give it to this too. So what I do, I just mark along and really rub into it. And then around her. Mod Podge is really hard to do this, but I'm trying. Well, that's not going to work, that one. And that's not going to work. So we're going to put the word on. It's very disappointing because I really wanted to show you what outlining does to your picture. Oops. A star. That's disappointing. I really wanted to, but I'm not worried. We'll leave it. So then I just get me black soot ink, and because that's been roughed up, it's going to make the edges look really nice. And this is just a Tim Holtz one. It was very popular here for a long time, black soot. That's all everyone used to buy is black soot. That's lifting up a bit, so I'll go good down. See, would have made a really nice tag. I've got this one, and this one's still not dry. So this is me junking. Okay. So what we need, more black soot. Because I did serrate that. Oh, no, I didn't. But I still use black soot anyway. Because I just like how it lifts it off the page. And I want black. But it ain't happening. I wonder if I can do it with do white to blend it in. Especially the lady. Because I really want it to be blended into the no, not working. We need black. Black, black, black. I had some good ones and I don't know what I've done with them. You know how you have them and you use them and they're there and whatnot? Let's see if I can put it in the ink. That don't work. But that needs a word. And on that, we'll put a star. And I'm just going to black soot it. So I'm just creating pockets. Look, and whether they look good or not, I don't know. These are for my journals that anything goes. I call them my journal of ideas. And why I like them is for the simple fact is I can reflect on what I been up to in my journals. Well, that's not happening like I want it to, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, the Journal of Ideas for me has been really good because I can actually go back to it and it tells me, you know, the things I done. And honestly, it just makes a world of difference to me. Now, where is that? Is for that. So, I just go in, use my little tool. Since I can't find a black texture that will work for me, or my charcoal. I really like the black around the word. So that's the pocket I created. I'm not too happy with this one because I haven't been able to draw around her and I really wish to be able to do that. So it just might need to dry off a bit more. I don't know. Now I need just a little bit of something different there. I know. scrap of burlap. Bit of lace. And that's the thing. You know, you just got to work out what's missing. And if you see something is missing, add it in. Like eye layer. And this is what it's all about. You're using up your scraps, you're layering, and you're doing something totally different to what your norm would be. So I'm going to attach that bit of lace there. I'm just going to do it like that. So it's just a bit of layers. And look, honestly, it does the trick. I don't think that piece there looks good. So we take that away. There you go. And we'll just fray a bit of the burlap before it sticks down completely. Much better. Bit of frayed burlap. It's not stuck down completely. I mucked up the lace there, but it's fine. Nothing but my nails that would fix. So that's her. Now another thing, I love this board. Now I've just put a light gesso on it, and with that, all I'm going to do is again Mod Podge some tissue. Down. And the thing with this is you've got to really work it in. And you know, it doesn't have to be tissue. It can be, actually that's not torn. I don't want it torn. And work it in. If you haven't got enough Mod Podge to work it in, put some more in, because it will work in. Yeah, I bought this bit of plastic for my desk. Man, it's good. It's really good because now I can actually do some work. Now with this, I am not going to ink it this time because I only want to ink the outside of my tag. And this is just collaging. And then I can make up my mind later what I want to stick on it. So I'm going light to tissue and then to my dark paper. Like I said, keep your scrappies. Like, honestly, I wouldn't know what to do without my scrappies. Now again, because I want the Mod Podge to work this in, I will soak it in just to get the effect I want it to get. No. Sometimes it's just that tad too much, and you just got to realise that, you know, when something is too much, don't add. Now, maybe. No. You can tell when something's going to go and when something's not going to go. So you just don't go there. So what I might do here instead Just checking to see what I got. No. I like these silly buggers, but I want to ink it well. I want black.